When did you meet your wife?
We met in December '66, and we got married about 3 or 4 weeks later. That was kind of slow for me. I wanted to marry the next day, but she was kind of cautious and reserved, a little slow about things. Can we wait a few weeks, she said.
You wanted to marry her the next day?
Sure. I knew right away. She was just, I could tell instantly. It was one of those almost extra real moments.
28 years you've been married?
Yes, 28.
And you just happened to bring a picture of her along.
Now, I know you always asked about the wives, Brian, and this is my favorite photograph of my wife. Her name is Mavourneen, an Irish name.
But 3 or 4 weeks, how did you know? I mean, what was special about her?
Well, she was an RN. She's a very caring, you could tell right away she was a very caring woman and just was open-minded and generous, and everything I knew about her right away has been proven to be true all these years.
Do you disagree ever on politics?
Oh yes, frequently. Yeah. I couldn't live with anybody who thought like I did. It'd be a pretty tumultuous existence.
Is she a pacifist?
She's not into isms and osms as I am. She is into more of. She has a very service-minded outlook on life, and she loves our 3 boys. And
excuse me.
Here we are.
I just happen to have a picture of your 3 boys.
There are 3 boys, and they're the joys of my life and my wife's life also.
Love-based anarchy. That's kind of strange. That bounces around in my head, kind of strange. I think love-based life is a wonderful thing, but when you put it with anarchy, that sort of throws me off. I don't know. What do you think, Jan?
Well, I just know the years of reading Cormac McCarthy in the Washington Post and admiring his views about peace and love. It is something to think about, a love-based anarchy. Wow, that's what we were talking about in the 60s, and so he's still talking about it, and some of us have got more a little bit mainstream, and he continues to challenge us in his thinking.
Enlightened anarchy, I think it's wonderful wishful thinking. I'd love to see us get to that day, and as I know Coleman would love to see us get to that day, but I think it's going to be tough, but it certainly should be our goal. I love Coleman McCarthy. I love him personally. I admired him professionally. My daughter actually took his course and became a real believer, and so I think that he's an amazing man I'm just glad he's on this earth. I saw him riding his bicycle not long ago, so I see he's in great shape, and I look forward to many, many, many more years of Coleman McCarthy and all the marvelous contributions he makes to all of us here on earth.
Coleman McCarthy? His wife, Mav, my godmother, she was a midwife when I was born. And I grew up in a non-violent household. So Coleman had a big influence on my life. They thought I'd be a more peaceful baby when I was born if it wasn't in a hospital. There were no drugs involved. I don't know if that worked or if it had the counter effect, but Coleman, interesting guy. Wild boy.
Well, I don't know if my comments were passive. I've tried to deal with nonviolence in a very positive way. During the Civil Rights Movement, I was committed to it, and I'm against war. So I guess you would put me in that category.
Did you read Cormac McCarthy's writings at the Post?
Occasionally.
What did you like about his writing style?
It was what I describe as sort of down to earth. Folksy, understandable by anybody who reads it, as opposed to talk to those up here, talk to people all across the spectrum, I think.
Yeah. Would you like to see the world be a love-based anarchy?
Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great?
Where men and women love each other without laws. We don't need the government to tell us to be good.
Well, I don't know if you go that far, but we'll love each other with or without laws. That's my attitude about it.
How's your health, man, Barry?
Fantastic.
Yeah, you look good.
I look good. 72 years of age.
You're walking a lot. How do you stay healthy?
Eat the right kind of food, and I exercise in the gym 3 days a week.
Nice.
Including this morning, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. When time gets tough and things look dismal, don't give up. Just decide you can be anything that you want to be, as long as it's positive, as long as it's productive. Just don't let anybody break your spirit, and always look to the future as being victorious for what you want to do.
What do I think about Coleman's enlightened anarchy? Is anarchy enlightened? Are people who are enlightened anarchists? He's an individual, an original individual. He makes people think, he makes me think, makes us think about love, who we love on this planet, whether or not we even love ourselves. Do we love ourselves? I don't think enough people do. That's why anarchy might not work. If you can't love yourself, how are you going to love other people? If you don't love other people, how can you live with them without rules?
Beyond the fact that it's not about Coleman when Coleman does what, takes part in Bandit culture or writes an op-ed piece or anything. It's about the idea behind it that he's put a lot of time into, and more than that, I mean, what goes hand in hand with that is that there's a great honesty there. I mean, the guy, you don't feel you're getting played in any way. In fact, in some ways, I can see how it would be irritating to people because they're used to being played, or they're used to having diplomacy, or they're used to having ideas handed to them with a bow around it and in a nice, pretty box. Coleman doesn't do that. He makes people uncomfortable. And to tell you the truth, I think that's an extremely valuable thing in our society. I think there should be more people who make people uncomfortable because that's the only way you move forward.
Coleman McCarthy, we first sat down and did this discussion on a Sunday night 14 years ago for Book Notes. What's changed in the teaching of peace in 14 years? Yeah.
Well, we have made some progress. I'm still teaching courses. I began in 1982 at a D.C. public high school, 5 blocks from the White House, and one of the poorest schools in America. And the course went well. I then took it to American University. I took it to University of Maryland, Georgetown Law School, Bethesda Chevy Chase High School, and Wilson High School, plus the Washington Center for Internships. So I've had about 7,000 students over the years, and I love it. And I have an early 7:25 a.m. class at Bethesda Chevy Chase High School, and then an 8:20 class right after that. So it gets me up good and early. I bicycle to school, and you have to be a lover of the long shots to be in peace education, because progress is a little bit slow. I remember that wonderful line from I.F. Stone. If you're gonna take on a battle, make sure you keep losing, and lose and lose and lose, because 100 years from now, somebody will take up the same battle and they'll win, because you were back then 100 years ago losing and losing and losing. I never forgot that great line from Izzy Stone, who was one of my favorite all-time journalists.